Yet another beautiful Paasuram with so much of Anubhavas that till now, starting from the sixth song, Andal has been waking up all the Gopikas, all her friends, the Sakis. She has been visualizing herself to be in Gokula, Vrindavana, the Vrajabhumi, and she's been inviting her friends to come and join her in the sacred bath, where they all will immerse themselves in the Bhagavad Gunas, in the Bhagavad Anubhavas. So we started this beautiful feeling of how she wakes up her friends. What are the lessons for us from each of the Saki she wakes up? The different mindsets of her different friends. And now we are in the 12th song of Tiruppavai, where Goda wakes up yet another Gopika, yet another devotee, yet another Bhagavata. So this Bhagavata, this girl, has a noble brother, and Andal addresses her as that person's sister. So what is that brother? Why is he's so important here? Is because Bhagavan Krishna always liked the company of that brother of hers. So he's supposed to be a Narselvan. Narselvan means good, wealthy, prosperous kind of person. So he's known for having a good name, good fame, and a lot of sampat. Just like how Lakshmana was always of servitude to Rama, this brother of this girl always was with Krishna. Now, what did he do with Krishna? When Krishna is standing just like that, it seems Krishna does not just like to stand by himself. So, what Krishna does is he would lean on someone. So, when Krishna is just standing, imagine Krishna doesn't want to stand by himself, right? So, when friends are there together, we tend to kind of lean towards our close friend so that we feel so relaxed, right? So, this boy was the person on which Bhagavan would always lean. He would slide and stand with this person as his support. And that lucky person is called as Narselvan by Goda. So Krishna happily leans on this person instead of standing straight. So close that Gopika is to Bhagavan that when Krishna is there and Krishna Kainkarya is paramount, he does not even milk his cows. He prioritizes Krishna to his work of milking the cows. Remember in the previous Pasuram, previous song, we explained that the cowherd boy was so proficient in his job of milking the cow. Therefore, that excellent quality was appreciated by Goda, right? But in this Pasuram, it is like this person is skipping his duty. But then Andal calls him as Narchelvan. That is such a beautiful term. He says he is such a wealthy person. Now, why would Andal do something like that? This person is not even doing his Varnashrama Dharma. His Varnashrama Dharma is supposed to be that of, milking the cows. But he's ignoring his duty, but still, Goda calls him as Narsilvan. What do we understand from this? The important concept is that why is he not doing what he's supposed to do? Because he is doing his Vishesha Dharma. So when we think of Varnashrama Dharma, our routine Dharma, and a special Dharma, a unique Dharma, the unique Dharma many times will take precedence. Like a Abad Dharma, when there is an emergency, we are permitted to skip the normal work. Similarly, when there is a Bhagavat Kaingaryam or Bhagavata Kaingaryam, when we have to serve Bhagavan or a devotee of Bhagavan, that will take precedence over the normal work that we do. Now, this Gopa, this great devotee of Bhagavan, has the greatest blessing of serving Bhagavan. Therefore, his Samanya Dharma of milking the cow takes a back seat. So, it is not because of laziness, It is not because of other desires that he is not doing the work. It is because of the greatest opportunity to serve Bhagavan Krishna that he is not milked his cow. So Goda is so happy, he calls him Nachelvan. He says, "You are a person full of prosperity." What does prosperity here mean? It means his Krishna Bhakti. Being blessed with the devotion to Bhagavan, doing servitude to Bhagavan, offering our seva to Bhagavan is considered as the biggest wealth we can ever have. Therefore, Narchelvan is a word that Goda has used in this beautiful Paasuram of hers. She calls him Narchelvan Tangai. So always she associates any person to the devotees of Bhagavan. Remember earlier also, she called a devotee as Mama and Magale. She called her my aunt's daughter. So, Mami Ravale Elpiro, she basically associates all the devotees as some way of the relationship with her, right? So here, this girl is addressed to as that great devotee's sister. That person is blessed with so much of kainkariam to Bhagavan, and you are his sister. What kind of a merit can this be? So that is the way Goda addresses this beautiful Saki of hers. So the song goes like this. கனைத்திலம் கற்றெருமை கன்று கிறங்கி நினைத்து முலை வழியே நின்று பால் சோர நனைத்தில்லம் சேராக்கும் நற்செல்வன் தங்காய் பனித்தலை விழ நின் வாசற்கடை பற்றி சினத்தினால் தென்னிலங்கை கோமானை செற்ற மனத்துக்கினியானை பாடவும் நீ வாய் திறவாய் இனித்தான் எழுந்திராய் ஈதென்ன பேருறக்கம் அனைத்தில்லத்தாரும் அறிந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். Such a beautiful song. We can dwell on it, with so much of anubhavas as we proceed. So I will go into the general meaning as well as the internal meaning, as we always do. Kanait, Kanait here basically refers to the buffaloes. Okay. Now, all the buffaloes are there. Goda associates a lot of things to the Vrajabhumi, where the cows, the calves, the buffaloes, everything is prosperous, right? Now, what has happened? I told you in the context setting that this boy, the Gopa, because Krishna leans on him, he wants to do that service to Bhagavan. He's already gone off, okay, to the forest along with Krishna, and he's ignored his milking. So he's not been milking the cows. So what has happened to all the cows and the buffaloes is that they have not been milked, because of which they are finding it very hard and painful. When the buffaloes don't give milk, a lot of pain happens to them. So they are now starting to cry out. Now, why would Andal start with something like this, that the buffaloes are crying out? Our acharyas are saying that, it is not speaking about the actual buffaloes. She is speaking about Bhagavan. Bhagavan is filled with so much of karuna that he wants to serve us, like how the buffaloes want to serve the milk to us. He is waiting to help. But because we are not recipient, we are not taking that, Bhagavan has pained so much and he is crying out, "Look, I'm waiting for you, I'm waiting for you, please come to me." Just like how the buffaloes are crying out here, it seems Bhagavan is crying out for us. That's the way Andal starts this Paasuram. So, Kanaithu, Ilangatrerumai. So here, all these buffaloes are having their young calves, or possibly the calves are also buffaloes, but they look like calves because when Krishna's Kataksha comes, we said everything looks younger than what it actually is, right? So all these calves are there. Ilang Katrerumai. So the baby of the young buffalo, but then now they are not able to consume the milk because again, this Gopa has gone behind Krishna. So on one side, the buffaloes are there, which is waiting to give the milk. On the other side, the calves are there, which need the milk. But then the calves are not able to take the milk. So here, the calves are compared to all of us, the samsaris. All of us are there in this situation where we are not even able to understand the love of Bhagavan to us. All of us are dwelling in so much of the samsara sagara, our everyday routines, the chaos that happens in our life, but we fail to recognize the love, the pouring that Bhagavan has on us. So the buffaloes are ready to pour so much of milk, the calves are also there, but because the gopa is stepped out, both are not able to satisfy themselves. Similarly, Bhagavan is ready to pour so much of affection, karuna on us. He is pained that we are not using it. We, on the other hand, do not even know the kind of love that Bhagavan has, and we are struggling here for his love. So, both extremes are mentioned by Goda in the very first phrase, where she says, Kanai tilankatrerumai. So much of depth right here. Kandrik irangi. So, here, the mother buffalo, because it's not able to pour or give the milk to the cow, what it does is it basically pours off all the milk, excessive milk, on the floor. All that goes for a waste, all the excess milk, because it can't bear the milk for too long, it's pained, right? So it just pours off that milk. So it's basically expressing its sorrow, saying, like, all these are going for a waste, my calves are not getting fed but my milk, but it is suffering because of the separation, that it just pours off the milk and the milk is not really used for the right purpose. So what happens is, Bhagavan has all that karuna, we are not using it, that karuna is actually wasted. Bhagavan is waiting, he's pained, he's like, he's worried about us. How will all my children reach the Sri Vaikunta? He has given us, everything that we need. He's given us this equipment which is called the body. He's given us the right knowledge. He's given us all the granthas. Everything is there. He's worried. When will my children ever get the jnana bhakti? When will they surrender to me? When will they actually come to the Sri Vaikunta? He's not able to, you know, bear the separation from all of us. So during Pralaya, he gives us all what we want. So now the Gopikas are like saying, the buffaloes are suffering because that Kovalan, that boy, is not there to milk. So we all are suffering because you are delaying. We are not able to reach Krishna because you are delaying us, you are sleeping inside. Unless you come, your brother is not coming, so your buffaloes and cows are suffering. Because you are not coming, we and Krishna are suffering. Oh girl, please come out. So they are comparing this cows and buffaloes to themselves and Krishna's. So that's a beautiful thing how Goda connects these two things. So Ninaitu Pal Soriyum. So, thinking of the scarf itself, the cows now start pouring all that excess milk down. Typically, we say that the clouds take the water from all the oceans and it goes through this, rain cycle where it starts pouring the rains at regular intervals for us. But then these cows don't even take so much of time. They don't have to observe the milk from anybody. They just think about the calves and all the milk starts pouring. So our acharyas beautifully compare this with the affection they have for Goda. So what happens here is, Goda is filled with so much of affection to Bhagavan. So the moment Bhagavan thinks of Goda and her love, he starts pouring all his karuna. Just as how the buffaloes start pouring milk, Bhagavan starts pouring his karuna the moment he thinks of Goda. So all of us repeat some of the words that Goda said, right? So what happens is, just on hearing the words from Goda, Bhagavan's heart starts melting. So he thinks, hey, these are Goda's words, and that karuna is given to us also. So this is compared to saying that, sometimes these cows will not be available for the cowherds to milk the cow. So the cowherd now wants to take the cow, typically take the milk from the cow. So typically what they will do is they will bring a calf near the cow. They will allow the calf to, have a little bit of its feed, and then they will start milking the cow, because only then the cow will start giving a lot of milk. But sometimes when the calf is not there, what the milkmen will do is they will cover themselves with a skin which looks like the calf, and then they will go and milk the cow. The cow will think that, oh, okay, it is my calf which has come, because the covering is that of the calf, right? And then the cow will start giving milk. So our acharyas say, for Andal's devotion, for Goda's devotion, Bhagavan pours out his affection, just as how the cow or buffalo pours out the milk for the calf. But then, if we do not have so much of bhakti as Goda, we can try to recite her songs with devotion, even if it is not possible. Just like how the cowherd boy covers himself with the fake cover of the calf, the cow still gives the milk, right? Similarly, even if we fake the devotion and recite the pasurams which Goda has given, Bhagavan's karuna will still be there, because these are the words of Goda. So people say, right, fake it till you make it. It's like you can fake that devotion, and eventually Bhagavan will bless you with so much of devotion, because you are using the words of Goda, which is so filled with devotion. It will not stop there. It will definitely take you to the next step of creating that genuine devotion, bhakti bhava to Bhagavan, because Bhagavan will pour himself with so much of affection that we will be blessed to receiving this nectar of Bhagavad Karuna. So much of love Goda had. Therefore, we should always repeat her Tiruppavai Pasurams. This is our advice, by our acharyas, our seers, on why we should recite Tiruppavai. So now what happens? Just by thinking about the calves, all these beautiful, cows are pouring out this milk, right? So this is compared to all our acharyas, our preceptors, pouring out so much of karuna, and they want to give us all the learnings, all the knowledge, the meanings of all the shastras. They want to give it off to the right recipient. They are waiting, when will you all come and learn from us? We have so much, and we are waiting to give it to the right disciples. So much of karuna of the acharyas is what this milk is compared to. Now if we just look at Bhagavad Gita, such a beautiful experience comes to us, where Bhagavan is there, Arjuna is lamenting, and initially Arjuna says he's not going to fight, and Bhagavan is upset that Arjuna is telling this. So, what does Bhagavan say? He scolds Arjuna, the first two slokas where he recites, in the second chapter, sloka 2 and 3. Krishna actually scolds Arjuna. He says, Kutasva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam अनार्यजुष्टम अस्वर्ग्यम अकीर्तिकरम अर्जुन क्लैब्यम मास्मगमपार्थ एतत्त्वयि न उपपद्यते shudram hridaya दौर्बल्यम त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ parantapa. Right? So he says, from where did all these poisonous thoughts come to your mind? Oh Arjuna, this is not befitting a person of your caliber. This is anaryam. This is asvargyam. This will not give you any kirti. Akirtikaram, oh Arjuna. So, Klaipyam Masmakama, get rid of all these, negative thoughts. All these are poisons to your mind. Shudram, Hridaya Daurbalyam, let this, delicate feeling of your heart, this dilemma in your heart, the where you're feeling that you are not strong enough, that feeling in your heart, get rid of all that and get up, go fight, is what Krishna says. He basically scolds Arjuna, saying that this is just not the right thing. And then what Arjuna does? He surrenders to Bhagavan. He says in the same chapter, in the very seventh sloka, he says, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. I surrender to you, oh Bhagavan, accept me as your disciple and guide me in a path which will give me Shreyas. So when Arjuna surrenders, automatically Krishna starts loving it. Because when anybody surrenders, Bhagavan gives all what it takes, to make them a Satpatra, to make them the right recipient of the knowledge. So the moment Arjuna surrenders, the way Sanjaya explains, is such a beauty for us to see. Tamuvacha Rishikesaha Prahasanniva Bharata. Krishna then starts smiling. Prahasan, he starts smiling, and then the Gita starts. So whenever we think of the Gita it is not with that serious tone that Bhagavan says it. The moment Arjuna became a Sishya, he is protected. He is taken care of by Krishna. And then he puts on a smile. Prahasan Iva. Bhashata. He starts telling everything to Arjuna, where Tamuvacha Rishikesa. Rishikesa, the controller of everybody's senses. That Rishikesa now adorns a smile and then starts advising to Arjuna, where Arjuna's senses will also now be under Krishna's control, right? So, what happens here is Arjuna just asked him to guide him in the right path. But now Krishna was overflowing with all the thoughts. He gave him Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam. He gives him the Sharanagati Marga. In the 18th chapter, he basically tells him everything. Etad guhya tamam param. He says, of all the secrets, oh Arjuna, this secret that I'm going to tell you is not even a normal secret. It is not a superior secret. It is the ultimate secret I'm telling you. Because in Samskrita, you can categorize things into different levels of importance. Normally, you can tell something, you can add a superlative thing to it, and you can exceed that also. A third level of importance can also be given, the ultimate importance to it. For example, you can say punya, which means it is a very, very auspicious thing. They get a lot of punya. Mahat punya is like, advanced punya, a lot of punya they will get. It's a superior thing, adjective which is superior to punya. And then the ultimate thing is sumahat punya, the ultimate punya you will get. So you can categorize this. So usually in Samskrita, you use the words tara and tama in order to say whether it is superior or it is ultimate. So Sara, Saratara, Saratama. This is the essence. This is even a deeper essence, Saratara, Saratama, the ultimate essence. So that is the way we usually categorize things. So here, what happens is Guhya means secret. Arjuna is told by Krishna that this is Guhya. This is not even Guhya Tara. This is Guhya Tama, which I'm giving you. The ultimate secrets I'm going to give you, O Arjuna. Now, Arjuna just asked a question, right? Guide me in the right path. But how much Krishna was giving? The entire Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, sloka after sloka, clarifying so many intricate things that we are still exploring whether our lifetime is sufficient to understand Bhagavad Gita. So much of information Bhagavan gives. So, this is what Andal means by saying, Ninaitu mulai valiye paal suriyam. It's like, just by thinking about a ardent disciple, our acharyas pour so much of karuna, so much of information, so much of knowledge to us. So Krishna, just because Arjuna surrendered to him, started pouring all the Upanishad meanings, all the details, all the secrets, the ultimate secret. Everything was given by Krishna to Arjuna. So much of karuna Bhagavan has on us, our acharyas has on us. So this is the inner meaning which is given. In fact, if we look at Bhagavad Gita, there are some slokas which people usually recite even before reciting the Bhagavad Gita, right? All the Mahima of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned. In one sloka, there it says, Sarvopanishado Ghavo Dokta Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Geetamritam Mahat. So this basically says all the Upanishads are like the cows, and the milkman is Bhagavan Krishna himself. So therefore, For the sake of Arjuna, Arjuna who's like a calf, Bhagavan, gave this milk, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And just like how that milk of the cow is created for the calf, but everybody consumes it, right? Similarly, that Gita, which was given with Arjuna as a nimitta, is now being consumed by all of us. Such a beautiful phrase. Sarvopanishadu ghavo dokta gopalanandanaha parto vasa sudirbhokta duktam gitamritam mahat. So this comparison by Goda is so important to all of us to know the amount of karuna which all our acharyas, Bhagavan, everybody has, and they keep pouring that information on us. So, Nanaitillam Cherakkum Narchelvan Tangai. Because so much of milk is now overpouring on the soil there. What happens is that the water, when it's poured on the soil, it becomes muddy, right? It becomes watery, and when people stamp on it, it's like a clayey kind of feel that comes, right? That muddy water, when water is goes into the dirt, it becomes like mud. Now what happens is, because all these cows are overflowing with so much of milk, which is all going off to the mud there, it becomes a mud of not water but of milk. So much of prosperity is seen in that place, says Goda. So all these basically on one side show the prosperity of the place, on the other side it shows about the beauty, the karuna of the acharyas. It speaks about the greatness of Bhagavan. It speaks about how Andal associates every single thing to Bhagavan and Bhagavatas, Bhagavat Karuna, and to the Bhagavata Lakshana. Goda says, Narchelvan Tangai. I touched on this word Narchelvan prior to this, where she says Nar means good. Chelvan means wealth. So good, wealthy person, something like that can be a loose translation of this. So what do we mean by wealth? Wealth is being of servitude to Bhagavan Krishna. What else can be a greater wealth, right? So when we serve Krishna, Krishna Bhakti is the greatest wealth. Everything else is temporary in this world. So a person might have material wealth, a person might have a good house, good uh, transportation facilities, good family, whatever it is. Everything is for this janma. It's all passing by, right? So what is the eternal wealth? What is the wealth for our atma? It is Krishna Bhakti. And if we notice, so many of our scriptures reveal this in a very, very interesting way. Lakshmana, Rama's younger brother, was given a beautiful title called Lakshmanaha Lakshmi Sampannaha. Lakshmi Sampannaha. Um, when was he given this title? Not when he was in the palace, not when he was, like a prince of Dasharatha, having all the richness in Ayodhya. That was not the time he got this title. When Bhagavan Rama went on his exile to the forest for 14 years, Lakshmana accompanied him for Rama Kainkarya. That was the time Lakshmana was given this title of Lakshmi Sampanna. What a beautiful thing. So when he is given up all his material riches and he goes behind Rama and Sita to be of service to them without taking any of his personal belongings, just with Seva Bhava, he gets the title of Lakshmi Sampanna. What kind of a beauty is this? It is in Valmiki Ramayana. Lakshmi Sampanna. Lakshmanaha Lakshmi Sampannaha. So it is because of Rama Kainkarya that he got this title. Similarly, in many of our scriptures, we use the word Sriman. Shri means goddess Mahalakshmi, right? So when does a person become the possessor of this Shri, this possessor of this wealth? Gajendra, if you take, Gajendra was the elephant which was caught by the crocodile. Many of us know the Gajendra Charita, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavata Purana. Now, when Gajendra thought that he is a mighty elephant, he can help himself, he could not. When he thought that all the battalion, he had like his friends and families around 500,000 other elephants to help him out, pull him out into the land, help him, save him from the crocodile. He still could not be saved. So his ahankara that he will help himself did not work. His mamakara that he will help himself did not work. Finally, he realized because of his Acharya Anugraha, because he was doing Bhakti Yoga in his previous birth before he was cursed. He was a king called Indradyumna. So because of all that kataksha of Agastya Maharishi, he realized that I'm not able to help myself. My friends or family are not able to help me. So he got rid of his ahankara, he got rid of the mamakara. He had a beautiful golden lotus on his trunk. He offered it to Bhagavan and sang the praise of Bhagavan, saying that I am giving up my ahankara, mamakara, I don't have everything. I surrender at your feet. That is when he became a Sriman. That is when he became wealthy. That is when Gajendra was blessed with all the richness that he deserved. So many such examples are spread over, our scriptures. Vibhishana. Vibhishana was the brother of Ravana. And Ravana's richness, all of us know, right? He was Kubera's brother. He took all the richness from Kubera and he was ruling over every possible thing that he could. Vibhishana was his brother who had the right to all these as well. And he was floating in materialistic richness when he was in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka, when you read Valmiki Ramayana, the explanation of Sri Lanka is so beautiful. It is filled with greeneries, it's filled with precious stones and richness everywhere. So much of richness was adorning Sri Lanka, and Vibhishana did not get his title there. Now, Vibhishana gives up everything because Ravana is going in the negative path. He's not, giving back Mata Sita to Rama. So, Vibhishana advised Ravana with all the good words. Ravana paid no heed. In fact, Ravana was so upset with Vibhishana that he asked him to get out of his kingdom. So, when Vibhishana was banished, Valmiki Maharishi calls him a Sriman. What a beauty, right? So Vibhishana got his title of Sriman when he abandoned all his relatives, when he abandoned Lanka, and he came there waiting after surrendering to Sri Rama. He surrendered to Bhagavan. He was waiting to be accepted by Bhagavan Rama. At that time, he got the title of Sriman, the possessor of all wealth. Such beautiful lessons for us in life that Bhagavan is the only wealth for us. The ultimate wealth is Bhagavan. So, we are the main duty of all of us as devotees is the selvam, the wealth, should be in relationship to Bhagavan and not to the materialistic wealth. So, whatever is the service that we can offer to Bhagavan with nishkamya, without having the materialistic benefits as the end result, is the true, genuine seva which Bhagavan is happy with. In fact, in one of my earlier episodes in the series, I had told this beautiful sloka. I think it is important that we repeat that sloka at this point of time so that the entire concept can be absorbed. विपदो नैव विपदः सम्पदो नैव सम्पदः विपद् विस्मरणं विष्णोः सम्पद् नारायण स्मृतिः. This is such a beautiful sloka. Vipado naiva vipadaha, sampado naiva sampadaha. Whatever we think as vipad, as calamity, as destruction, as problems, are not really any kind of calamity or distress. Sampado naiva sampadaha. What we think as wealth, whatever richness we see, whatever we acquire, the materialistic things we acquire, are not really sampads. So, what does the poet say? Vipad vismaranam Vishnoho. If we forget Bhagavan Vishnu, that is the biggest vipad. That is the biggest calamity that can happen in our life. So, what is sampad then? Sampad Narayana Smritihi. The wealth that we get is remembering Bhagavan. That is the ultimate wealth that we can have. So it's a beautiful two-liner sloka with so much of depth of meaning. So that is what Goda here says, that, Nachilvan, he is a possessor of the greatest wealth. What is the greatest wealth? It is doing seva to Krishna. Krishna, falling on him, happily slanting his body on this person, sliding towards him whenever he wants to relax. As if, we slide on a tree, we slide on a bench. This person is doing that service to Krishna. So he is a Natchalvan, he is the greatest blessed possessor of the richest possible wealth. Okay. So, Andal, in fact, in the very first Paasuram, if we remember, Margari Tingal Madinirainda Nannadal, there she was addressing all the girls of the Vraja Bhumi, right? Like, she was speaking about மார்கழி திங்கள் மதிநிறைந்த நன்னாளால் நீராட போதுவீர் போதுமினோ நிழறீர் சீர்மல்கும் ஆய்ப்பாடி செல்வ சிறுமீர்கள். She addresses all the girls of the Vraja Bhumi as Selva Sirmirgal, which means the rich girls, the rich kids of, the Vraja Bhumi. Why are they rich? Because they are well filled with Krishna Bhakti, Krishna devotion, Krishna Seva. Therefore, they are the richest people in the world. So, Andal is consistent in her terminology of wealth. What is wealth? Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Anubhava, being of service to Bhagavan Krishna's lotus feet. That is the wealth. Okay. So, that is the permanent wealth for all of us. All right. So, now she says, Narchelvan Tangai. She's associating this girl to that beautiful Narchelvan. So always Andal likes to associate herself or others with the greatest of the devotees or with Bhagavan. Nothing else matters to her. So here, because this girl's brother is so devoted and is so wealthy because of Krishna, she calls this girl as Nachalvan Tangai. You are the sister of that wealthy person. Wealth in Krishna Anubhava. You are the sister of that wealthy person. In fact, earlier also we said in one of the explanations that Sita Devi addresses Bhagavan, as Lakshmana Agrajaha. He calls Bhagavan as a elder brother of Lakshmana. And then she calls Rama, whenever she wants to address Lakshmana, Ramanuja is how she says this. Ramasya Anuja, Lakshmana is the younger brother of Rama. So she tries to call Lakshmana as Ramanuja. And she calls Rama as Lakshmana Agraja. Therefore, she always associates the devotee and Bhagavan with each other. So, Pullum Silambinagan, Paasuram, we saw that, Andal explains about Bhagavan by using the Garuda Dwaja. Why? Because Bhagavan always loves to be associated with his devotees. So, here, his devotee is this Narchalvan. So, Andal associates the girl with Narchalvan Tangai. So, our acharyas give two beautiful explanations and examples to this. Vibhishana, you know, um, was telling to the team and to Bhagavan Rama there after he surrendered, that his brother has done such a big negative thing, and he was very upset because his brother, instead of um, helping Sita join Rama, separated Sita Mata, right? So Vibhishana is very upset that, he is the brother of a person who's made that big crime. So he speaks about himself to be very low because he took the ownership of his brother's mistake. Though he had no part in it, he took the ownership of his brother's mistake. But now this Gopi's brother, is, very, very important that this sister can take the greatness from that Gopi. Okay. Now, another comparison between Vibhishana and this sister is that Vibhishana fled away from Lanka, you know, just in order to be of service to Rama. But at that time, what Vibhishana did is, instead of, bringing the devotees to Rama's fold, he asked his own daughter, Trijada, to serve Sita Mata. Because Sita Mata needed somebody to take care of her, Vibhishana will say, "Hey Trijada, you please take care of Sita Mata. I will go and surrender to Sri Rama." So Sita Mata service was paramount for Trijada, while Rama's Kainkarya was paramount for Vibhishana. Now, like that, these girls are saying, now your brother, the Narchelvan, is involved in Krishna Kainkarya, right? So why don't you come and join us for this vrata? Just like how Trijada and Vibhishana did two different tasks. Why can't you come with me while your brother is with Krishna? So they are doing a beautiful comparison this way. Panittalai Vilan in Vasar Kadaipatri. Now all these girls are coming there. We already explained about how the pathway is. All the cows have poured so much of milk, so the floor there, the soil there is now drenched with so much of milk that it's all become muddy and soggy, that even to keep a step there, it's like stepping on the diluted clay. It's so muddy like that. And it's not because of water, it is because of the milk, because of the prosperity of that place, that keeping a feed there itself seems to be a very, very difficult thing. Now, on top of it, what happens is they have already prayed to the rain god to give rains. So the environment, the sky is, beginning to shower. So a lot of dewdrops are already falling there. So this river of milk is flowing on the floor, is, spreading on the floor. Everything like that is happening. So these girls are saying, we are not able to enter your house. There is no protection on top of us, and the dewdrops are covering our head. So Panittalai Vizha, all these dewdrops are on our head. See my hair. So much of dew is there in my hair, you see. So we are not having a coverage. We are not having a protection. The floor is also not conducive for us to walk till your door. And what are you doing? You are making us wait outside your house. This is so unfair. So they are now thinking how to bring this girl out, right? So at this point, they have their usual technique of Nama Sankirtana. Bhagavad Anubhava Nama Sankirtana. These are the two tools that all our Godasakis, everybody use always, right? So now what happens is, Chinattinal Tennilangai Komanai Setra. This is such a Anubhavatmaka stage for us in this Paasuram. Sinattinal is like, anger. Because of anger of Bhagavan, what did he do? Tennilangai Komanai Setra. Setra is like enemy. Tennilangai Koman. Tennilangai is Sri Lanka. Koman is the king. So Setra defeated. Sinattinal Tennilangai Komanai Setra. So what is Goda telling here? Very, very interesting thought. Earlier, we saw that Bhagavan does not like to hurt even his enemies. So he will try to correct them by helping them get rid of the ego without hurting them. He will try to take all the measures, whatever is possible, to give minimum disturbance. Even if nothing works out, he will bring them to a different location and make it like a war so that all the civilians and women and children are not affected. So he'll take care of maximum possible things because his purpose is to help them get rid of their ego, not to ruin the location or place or anything. It's all his, right? So we saw this in Mahabali's episode where Mahabali, because of his ego, because he did not even listen to what his acharya said, Bhagavan helped Bali Chakravarti get rid of his ego, but he still made him the ruler, of the Rasatala. He protected him because he had given his word to Prahlada. So he just, helped him get rid of the ego. So Rama is supposed to be, at par with Bhuma Devi in terms of patience because Rama's qualities are explained so beautifully in Ramayana. I'll explain that in a bit. So, with so much of beautiful qualities, why is Goda saying that Sinathinal, how can Rama get angry? Will Rama also get angry? Then, what is our solace? We are thinking Rama is always, a very happy person. He's going to take care in spite of our mistakes, everything. What can we do if Rama gets angry? So it is explained beautifully with examples from Valmiki Ramayana that when Ravana was fighting the Yuddha with Rama. In spite of so many arrows which Rama received, Rama never got angry. But then Ravana started targeting Hanumanji. So when Hanumanji was harmed, that enraged Bhagavan. He could not tolerate his devotee, that too a devotee like Hanumanji being hit. So the moment Hanumanji was hit, Rama was really angry and he started, giving it back to Ravana. And how did he give it back to Ravana? He wanted the ego of Ravana to be erased completely. So what did he do? He actually started pouring out his arrows on Rama, and he basically ensured that everything around him was taken off initially, his ratha, whatever was around him, all his other weapons, everything was demolished. And finally, after Ravana got rid of his ego, Ravana was also killed. So basically, the purpose is one, to help his devotees get rid of the ego. Second is anybody who does a Bhagavata Abachara, anybody who hurts the devotees of Bhagavan, Bhagavan cannot tolerate. So that is a message that we get very, very clearly. And what all did Ravana do? He had harmed a lot of rishis in the Dandakaranya. He has hurt even Sita Pirati. He verbally abused Sita Pirati so much. He hurt Jatayu so badly that Jatayu was just holding his life till Rama came back in order to deliver the message. And he had banished Vibhishana, such a great devotee of Bhagavan, and now Hanuman. So Bhagavan was really angry. That is why Andal says Sinattinal, with all that anger, Bhagavan could not take it any further. In fact, not only in Rama Avatara, you see that even in Krishna Avatara, like Krishna could not tolerate, the suffering of Draupadi. So even though he was not in that Sabha at that point of time, the moment she called Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam from somewhere, Bhagavan blessed her with so much of clothes. And the Vastra was overflowing so much that the person who was trying to trouble her could not take it any further. It's like, Duchasana was, bereft of all his strength. He could not continue his task. He was so tired. He was so fatigued and exhausted. And so much was the overwhelming blessing that Bhagavan gave. And after that, in Srimad Bhagavata, it says that Bhagavan still was not happy. He says that, Draupadi surrendered to me. She called out my name. She said, Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam. But I'm not able to do justice to her surrender. I feel like, a person who's taken a debt and who's not able to repay the debt. I'm feeling so indebted to Draupadi, says Bhagavan in Srimad Bhagavata Purana to Rukmani Devi. So Rukmani is surprised. But the moment she called you, you gave her the clothes. So why are you feeling indebted? Why are you feeling like you're in debt? Bhagavan says, giving her the cloth is not, sufficient, because she called me out at that situation. She had me in her mind even at that point of time. Whatever I do for her will never be sufficient for the kind of surrender she did. And then what does Bhagavan do? Just because Draupadi surrendered that day, Bhagavan does all what it takes. He went as a Pandava Duta. Why did he go? Because Draupadi surrendered that day. He took all the humiliation of Duryodhana, where Duryodhana even tried to put Bhagavan Krishna in jail. He wanted Bhagavan to sit on a throne and make him fall off. So all the scrap Bhagavan took. Why? Because Draupadi said, Govinda Pundarika Aksharakshama. And then Bhagavan decides to go and help the Pandavas as and when they required. He gave him this beautiful um, vessel through Surya Deva, the Akshaya Patra, so that they will never be hungry in spite of being, in a Vanavas. He did not create an Akshaya Patra when he was Rama. They had to go in search of fruits and vegetables. But because his devotees are going, Bhagavan can't tolerate when his devotees don't eat, right? So he gave this Akshaya Patra so that they can eat, they can serve all those who are dependent on them. What kind of a Karuna Bhava is this? Think about it. Not taking anything for himself, giving everything to his devotees. Why did they do it? Because Draupadi surrendered to Bhagavan. And when Durvasa Maharishi came there, he had to be fed. And Draupadi has already completed the food. The vessel could serve only once. Krishna somehow found a loophole, one small leaf in it. So he said that no, it can again create it. And just because he consumed it, everybody felt full. He again protected Draupadi. Every situation after situation after situation, Bhagavan has been protecting all the Pandavas. Why? Because Draupadi said, Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam. She surrendered to Bhagavan. Bhagavan did all what he had to do. And then why did the Kurukshetra Yuddha happen? Because Draupadi had pledged. She said, I want these things to be done. Till that time, I'm not even going to tie my hair. So, the Kurukshetra Yuddha happened because Bhagavan wanted Draupadi to tie her hair. This is there in our Acharya's Vyakyana. Why? What was the reason of the Yuddha? Because Draupadi should plait her hair again. Not normal people. Greatest Acharyas have written this. Multiple Acharyas have written this as explanation. So much was her devotion, so much was her surrender. That is important. Now, what happened after that? Bhagavan decides to be a charioteer for Arjuna. Again, why? Of course, Draupadi's surrender. Because Bhagavan could have said, just like how his brother Balarama decided not to be part of the war, Bhagavan could have said, I don't want to be part of the war. He not only participated, but he took a role which was not to his caliber. He is Bhagavan. He should have dictated everything. He should have just ordered everybody to do whatever he says. But then he made Arjuna as the Rati. He became a Sarati, where Arjuna dictated what Krishna should be doing. Ratam Stapaya Achyuta. Arjuna orders Krishna. Krishna took all this. Krishna did whatever was required. Krishna gave the best of the advices to Arjuna. Krishna gave the Vishwarupa because it was required. Krishna took all the arrows on him rather than sending it to Arjuna. In fact, even today, if we go to a temple in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, which is called as the Parthasarathi temple, you can see Bhagavan's face will completely be black in color. And the reason why it is black in color is because Bhagavan had taken all the arrows which was passed on to Arjuna on himself. And because is that, uh, Bhagavan was fighting on behalf of Arjuna, where he took all the arrows. He was not using any weapons because that was his pledge that he will not use any of the arrows. But then he was protecting Arjuna from all the arrows that was coming towards Arjuna by taking everything on himself. Now, when the war got over, Arjuna was very, very happy and proud, where he told Krishna, Krishna, we have avoided all the arrows so beautifully that we, won hands down, basically, where none of their arrows could affect us. Now, Krishna said, like, oh, do you think so? And then Bhagavan turned his face towards Arjuna. Arjuna was shocked seeing Bhagavan's face, where his face was hurt so much and so much of blood was coming out that, Bhagavan had taken all the arrows which would have otherwise hurt Arjuna. Bhagavan had taken it on himself just in order to protect his devotee. So much was the love that Bhagavan had shown on his devotee that whatever calamity the devotees can have, Bhagavan actually takes it on himself. So, why did Bhagavan do all this? Again, because Draupadi had surrendered to Bhagavan. Therefore, it was his duty to protect the Pandavas. Now, during the war, Bhagavan, I said, took all the astras, right? That was not the only thing. He did so many things. I'll just elaborate one or two things for us to get a feel of what extent Bhagavan is protected. When we think of this, our heart literally melts on to what extent Bhagavan will go for his devotees. Now, whenever we have a driver for a car, what we do is, we just tell the driver that, driving is the duty of the driver. But then we also realize that the driver will maintain the car. He will clean the car every day morning. And, it always has to be spick and span. So it is the responsibility of the driver to wash and clean the car and maintain the car and everything like that. Similarly, during those days, it was the responsibility of the charioteer to maintain the horses. So, what do we maintain the horses? Is that what do we mean by it? Is when the horse is hurt, the first aid for the horse should be done by the person who is the Sarathi. So, doing the first aid, taking care, maintaining the horse has to be done by them. The stable of the horse, wherever the horse retires for the day, the horse will have its own nature's call. All those cleaning work should be done by the Sarathi. And Bhagavan Krishna used to do the first aid. He used to clean all the crap, the dirt, the filth of the horses, including the dung of the horses, everything Bhagavan Krishna used to clean. Why? Because Draupadi surrendered. And Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita says that, Nahi partasti kartavyam trishulokeshu kinchana. I don't have to do anything, in any of these three worlds. Why am I doing all what I'm doing? Because whatever I do, people are going to follow because they take me as an example. So it is very important that each of us lead by example, Arjuna. So you have to lead by being an example, says Krishna, right? So Bhagavan used to clean the place. Think of it, just thinking about it. He is the Sarvaloka Maheshwara. He is the Bhagavan of all the cosmic creation, which is, unending cosmos. Not just this world, not just this universe. All the multiverses, he is the Bhagavan. And he cleans the horses, cleans the filth, does first aid for them. Now, to top all this, he drives the chariot, and at that point of time, Arjuna is very, very fast when it comes to a war. Okay. He is supposed to be the best archer. So his speed, his skill of Dhanurvidya is really like a Manovega, like the speed of the wind. So he will not have time to tell, hey Krishna, go on the right side. I want to attack this person. Hey Krishna, go on the left side. Arjuna does not have so much of time during a war. So what Arjuna does is he will kick Krishna with the appropriate leg, with his feet. He will touch Krishna. So whichever part, whichever direction Arjuna touches, Krishna will move towards that direction in the Ratha so that none of Arjuna's target will be missed. So imagine Bhagavan will be sitting, below Arjuna. Arjuna will be fighting there. And whichever direction Krishna should go, Arjuna will hit him with his feet. Bhagavan very, very happily took all this because he's taken up the role of a charioteer. Why? Because Draupadi that day surrendered to him, saying that Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam. So Draupadi surrendered. Bhagavan has done everything. He's taken the arrows. I can go on with this charitra for a long time, but then the essence is that what extent Bhagavan does, so what all he can do for a bhakta who surrenders to him. You know, so that we can never understand or contemplate completely. So he does everything, and now he goes to Rukmani and he says, I feel I'm so indebted because Draupadi surrendered to me that day, and I'm not able to fulfill something which is equivalent to the greatness of her surrender, that I feel even the interest component of the loan is not yet repaid, leave alone the principal. So Bhagavan says all what he's done all along is not even like the interest. So, what is he going to do about the actual principal? How does he give her back? How does he pay her back the principal of her surrender? So much of feel for it. Chinnathinal tennilangai komanai setra. So, we were speaking about that sinam, that anger of Bhagavan. And we said that Bhagavan cannot tolerate when his devotees are hurt. And now, in addition to that, one more big, big mistake which Ravana did is he separated Mata Sita from Bhagavan. Now, whenever we worship Bhagavan, it always has to be worshipping them as a couple. So we have to worship Bhagavan and Mata as Divya Dampati, as a couple. We cannot say we want one without the other. That is a thing which Bhagavan cannot tolerate. They are inseparable. So separating them is a crime. So what happened to Surpanaka? Think about it. Surpanaka came, she admired Rama. Is it wrong to admire Rama? She fell in love with him. She said she wanted Rama come what may, which is fine. All of us are so much in love with Bhagavan. Even in all Valmiki Ramayana or Kamba Ramayana, Tyagaraja Ramayana, anywhere we see, Bhagavan is admired by all the devotees. So if Surpanaga admires, is it wrong? Is it one rule for his devotees, one rule for everybody else? No. What was the mistake there? She admired Rama. She wanted to get rid of Sita for that sake. So she was coming there to kill Sita Mata. She said, I will kill Sita so that Rama will become mine. And when she was about to, go and, towards Sita, that's when Lakshmana actually chopped her nose and ears. This middle part we never seem to hear. We hear that Lakshmana was angry and he chopped her ears and nose. But then she went ahead to, advance towards Sita Mata to kill Sita Mata. And that's when Lakshmana had to do this. So getting one person and not wanting the other is something which is a big abachara. We worship Mata and Pita together, right? They are like inseparable. So that is why Surpanaka was punished. Now, when we look on the other side, Ravana. Ravana loved Sita. Ravana was like, I want Sita come what may. I will do whatever it takes for that. If it means fighting, I will fight. If it means, uh, changing my kingly form into sannyasi ka roop, I will do that. If it means abducting her, I will do that. He did everything. Now, Sita is Mata, right? Again, when he loves, we see it as a mistake. Why? Because he did not want Rama. He wanted Sita alone. He wanted to marry Sita and get rid of Rama, which is a big, big, big abachara. Now, how do we know that these are true? Because think of Hanumanji. What did Hanumanji do? He wanted to unite Mata with Bhagavan. So Sita Mata and Bhagavan were united. He worshipped them together. He became a Sita Ramadasa. And because of that, till today and in the upcoming future, Hanumanji will always be worshipped as Ramadasa Hanuman, right? So we are worshipping him because he united the Divya Dampati, he united the divine couple and worshipped them together as Pitara or Mata Pitara, because when they are united, it is all Loka Kalyana, Loka Kshema. So we have to worship both of them together, but because Ravana separated Mata from Bhagavan, he had to face the consequences. So that is also one reason why, Sinathinal, Bhagavan was angry because Ravana ended up separating the Mata from our Bhagavan. So that is one of the other reasons why this happened. So, Shetrar, Tirarariya, Sendru Serichayum. Even there, what Bhagavan did is that, when there is a war, uh, there are different categories which is mentioned. When somebody wages a war on a country and people try to escape, or the king tries to escape, it is considered as a adama behavior of a Kshatriya. It is cowardness, like running away when a war is called for. And when somebody wages a war, we try to go into the defensive. That is called as a madhyama. Being wherever we are, we get defensive. That's madhyama. But when you go to the enemy's location, fight and win it, that is supposed to be a very, very superior thing in terms of the dairya of the Kshatriya. So here, because Ravana did the adharma of hurting the devotees and his own wife, Sita Mata, Bhagavan sent him. He went to his location. He avoided disturbing anybody in public. He fixed a war in the area. He tried to speak truce. When nothing else worked, even then, he went to the enemy's camp with courage and then fight it. So, Sendra Serichayum. So, that is a great quality of Bhagavan, which is mentioned here. So, here, Setra Tirariya, Sendra Serichayum. குற்றம் ஒன்றில்லாத கோவலத்தம் பொற்கொடியே குற்றவல். Okay, so தென்னிலங்கை கோமானை சிற்ற. So தென்னிலங்கை கோமான். So what do we mean by தென்னிலங்கை கோமான்? Is தென்னிலங்கை is Sri Lanka. Koman is the king of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is such a beautiful place because Hanumanji, who's supposed to be completely having the control of everything, he's not interested in any kind of wealth, or he's renounced everything, right? He was amazed by seeing Lanka, as per the description in Valmiki Ramayana. So, which tells us the kind of place Sri Lanka was. So, Tennilangai Komanai Sitra, that kind of a beautiful place. But Bhagavan, Sitra, he destroyed the ahankara of that Ravana. He could have disseminated him with the first arrow, but then he disseminated his chariot. He broke the enemy's bows. He, hurt the army, the ego, everything. And then only he took the head of Ravana, because getting rid of his ego was a very important thing for Bhagavan. Now, after saying this, Andal uses a beautiful phrase called Manattakiniyan. Manattakiniyan means, the person who is really sweet to our hearts, who is so pleasant to hearts, who is beauty to think about. Manattak, mana is manas, I think it's the same in all languages, mana. Iniyan is the one who is really sweet. So Manattakiniyan is such a sweet person. So she's addressing Tennilangai Komane Setra Manattakiniyan, the person who, killed the king of Sri Lanka, that sweet person to the heart. Now, how can a person who killed somebody be a very sweet person. He's supposed to be a terror when somebody kills somebody, right? So why is Andal saying that Bhagavan kills somebody and then that he is very sweet? He gives pleasure to us. He's cool to our heart. That kind of adjective can be understood as Manatha. So why does Andal tell this? Because he is sweet. He says, what Krishna does? We will wait for him. He will play all the foul games with us, and he will never show up, and that will melt our hearts. We will be, stuck with so much of desperation for him. We will feel so separated from him. We will wait for him, but Krishna will not even have one drop of tear in his eyes. He will not even miss seeing us. He will not even show that off. But we all will be longing for him. So he is so cruel. So sometimes in Andal's songs, in Goda's songs, we also say, "Themai Seyum." She will scold him like, "You are doing so much of distraction. We are building so many small, small things with all the mud, sand, and all. We construct these small houses like how the kids do in the sand of the ocean. We create all this, and then Krishna will come and disturb all that. These girls will be waiting, and Krishna will never turn up. They will think Krishna has come. He will come and he will vanish off. So he makes all of us sad instantly. We start, missing him so much. But then Rama is not like that. He will never make even his enemies cry. Therefore, Rama is Manatakiniyan. Krishna is cruel. Rama is Manatakiniyan. That kind of a discussion they do. And then he killed Ravana and others, right? So how can he be sweet? So here he basically kills the enemies of Bhagavatas. He gives Swatantra to Bhagavatas, therefore he becomes sweet to the hearts. So Bhagavan will never kill anybody who is a devotee. He will only kill the enemies of devotees. Even in devotees, he will kill the internal enemies of devotees, whereby devotees become more genuine devotees. So Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madhamastarya, these kind of negatives will be killed, and the devotee will become purer and purer because of the Manatta. So this Manatta has been explained so beautifully by so many different acharyas. The singing this divine name of Bhagavan Rama. What happened is after the war got over, um, there was like a boon where all the Indras, Brahmadeva, everybody will come in front of Rama, and they will say, "This is a great thing that you won, Ravana. So, is there any boon that you need from us?" So Rama will say, all these people had fought for me and they've even given up their life for my sake. So let all of them who've given up their life on this Dharma Yuddha for my sake get back their life. So that boon will be granted, and all the monkeys and everybody who fought on behalf of Rama, who actually temporarily died at that point of time, got back their life. So from Rama's side, nobody actually died. So even the dead are brought back to life when Ramanama, when that Manatik Inyan wants that, right? So they came back to life. But now when we think about Rama, his beauty did not end there. He said, "Let all the troops of Ravana who died in this war, let them also gain back their life." But then Ravana had basically decided that anybody who died in the battle did not deserve to have their body there. So he discarded all their bodies, into different places. Therefore, none of their body was available for them to get back their life. So Ravana's troop could not get back to life because of the mistake that Ravana did. But Rama had preserved everybody because they had to be given the right respect. Therefore, all Rama's troop got back the life. So that was the beauty of Rama, where even the dead came back to life. So he's such a great Manatikinian, say these people. So so we are singing that great Manatikinian's praise. And what else did Rama do? Because Sita Mata was there, he walked and walked and walked and walked all the way to meet his dear Sita Mata. So who can be more loving than Bhagavan Rama when it comes to Sita Maya, right? He was crying, he was asking, the birds, the river, every living and non-living thing there on, where is Sita? How can I meet her? And when Hanumanji went to meet Sita Mata says, Ravana has given me a deadline of 2 months. By that time, if Rama does not come and, rescue me, I have no option but to give up my life. So seeing this, Hanumanji hears it, goes and passes on this message to Sri Rama. And Sri Rama says, Sita is amazing. She's able to bear for 2 months without we being together. But I can't even bear for a second without being with my Sita. I can't bear this separation even for a second, says Bhagavan. So he's such a Manattakinyan where he walks and walks and walks just to rescue Sita Mata, right? So he is Manattakinyan. So he does everything to everybody, irrespective of what they offer. To Kaikeyi Mata, he showed so much of respect after he banished him. Whether it was taking his throne or he was thrown out of the palace, his Mandahasa never reduced. He was always the same. He hugged the Guha and he said, you are my brother, oh my dear Guha. So he was basically like, doing everything to everyone. Therefore, he is Manatakinyan. He never made anybody cry. He is such a Manatakinyan. We are singing the great praises of Bhagavan Sri Rama, they say. So when we are singing about this Manatakinyan, how can you sleep? So this has a beautiful reference in Valmiki Ramayana, where sage Valmiki wants to compose his Ramayana based on the divine qualities. So Valmiki Ramayana, if we observe, starts with an inquiry of Maharishi Valmiki, where he interacts with Devarishi Narada. So Devarishi Narada is asked, I want to compose a great epic. So I want to know at this point of time, in this world where we are staying, is there any person who qualifies to be my hero? Because my hero is someone which is very, very, very unique, very, very special, who has beautiful 16 traits. He has to exhibit all these 16 traits completely. Is there any person who qualifies for this? So, Sage Valmiki asks, all these are part of Ramayana's Balakanta itself. Kaunasmin sampradam loke गुणवान् कश्च वीर्यवान् धर्मज्ञश्च कृतज्ञश्च सत्यवाक्यो दृढव्रतः चारित्रेण च को युक्तः सर्वभूतेषु को हितः विद्वान् कः समर्थश्च कश्चैकप्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् को जितक्रोधो द्युतिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य विप्यति देवश्च जातश्रोषस्य संयुगे. Basically, he says, Sampradam Loke, at this point of time, in this loka, who's a person who has these 16 qualities? Who's a Gunavan? Who's a Viryavan? Who's a Dharmajnaha, Kritajnaha, Satyaman? So he says, not just one of these qualities, but the person I'm looking for should be a combination of all these qualities put together. So is there any person like that, at this point of time in this world? Because Gunavan could mean a person who has these qualities of benevolence, of happiness, the kind of saucilium. What we mean by saucilium is that a person of a very, very, very high caliber, high position, high designation, treating all his subordinates or people who are reporting to him or people who, in this world seem to be much lower than him at par with him. Suppose a CEO of the company speaks to the front desk staff, in the same way. We will say, hey, what kind of a CEO it is? He comes to the person and speaks, as if we are equals. So we think that's a great trait, right? Now forget people in this world. Bhagavan has actually avatarati. He's come down from Paramapada to this world. That itself is like a huge, huge coming down here. And with all that quality, think of all what Bhagavan did. He says, Vanara, Sugriva, is like his brother. he tightly hugs Hanuman, saying, I'm indebted to you, O Hanuman. He goes to a Nishada, to Guha, and he says, with you, we've become five brothers now. So, this quality where Bhagavan Rama, he is the ultimate supreme God, but his guna is so much of Sausilium that he thinks of everybody to be at par with him, including the Vanaras, including the squirrel. He remembered to even show his affection to the squirrel. What kind of a quality is this? So, that is the Gunavan. Viryavan can be understood as, very, very strong, very assertive, basically. When you have to call a spade, you have to call a spade a spade. You can't, just be polite when situation demands you to be assertive. Now, Bhagavan, in spite of treating everybody as equals, like a Gunavan, he still was very assertive when things had to be, taken under his control. For example, when Vibhishana surrendered, Sugriva and other Vanaras did not want to accommodate Vibhishana because they had their doubts in him. He is Ravana's own brother. Ravana has abducted Sita. So maybe he is coming on behalf of Ravana here to understand what are our secret things. How would you want a person from the enemy camp, that to such a powerful person, own brother? How can we accommodate him? We should not. So everybody advised against him. But then Bhagavan decided, no, he is surrendered. Not just Vibhishana, even if Yativa Ravana Swayam, even if Ravana himself comes and he says, I surrender, I will definitely accept him. Mitra Bhavena Samprapta. Let him not even be a true Mitra. Let him say that I am a Mitra. Even then I will accept. Just for that Bhava, I will accept. Therefore, this is assertiveness at its peak, because the consequences of this assertiveness is huge, right? Therefore, Bhagavan always, in addition to Sausilium, showed his assertiveness. So that is Viryavan. Dharmagnaha, righteousness. So just because he took up the Pitrivakya Paripalana as one of his, important woes, to what extent he went all the way to going to the forest, undergoing 14 years of tapasvi life, everything. He lost his wife in the process because Sita Mata was abducted, then retrieved her back. All these things, Pitrivakya Paripalana, he was well versed in the Smritis and the Shrutis. He ensured that he respected everybody who were well versed in it. He took up his vratas very, very seriously. He never compromised. All these were there. Kritagnaha. So there are 16 qualities. I'm just going to, say one or two qualities here more. Kritagnaha is like, having the sense of gratitude. Now, why should Bhagavan ever be grateful to anybody for anything? Everything is his, right? Everything is his possession. So he has absolutely no reason to have a sense of gratitude to anything for that matter. But then, even if a little help is done, Bhagavan is filled with gratitude, like how we saw in Krishna Avatara. Just because Draupadi used the words Govinda Puntarikakshara Kshamam Sharanagatam, to what extent Bhagavan was going, and he still is not fulfilled. He thinks that, uh, even the interest is not repaid. When am I going to repay the main debt, right? So Bhagavan Rama also exhibited such beautiful traits of Kritagnyata. The little help he received from anybody at any point of time, he felt like, he was overdue. Whatever he had to do, he had to do for them. So that is why when Hanumanji did so much, Rama was like, I can never repay all what you've done. Therefore, inside Bhagavan, think about this, just visualize this beautiful thing. In Mahabharata also, this episode comes where the end time, the pralaya or the delusion is mentioned. During the delusion, what happens is Bhagavan lies down on top of a banyan leaf, right? As a little baby, little kid. And he consumes all the universes. And all the universe go into his little belly, the small stomach. He's lying down like a small baby, right? So this entire thing goes into his stomach. And his stomach imagine what kind of a stomach will a baby have, right? In that, all these universes look like one small little dot. It occupies a very, very, very small place. The unmanifest is the huge belly that is there. So when Bhagavan breathes in, the universes go in. When he breathes out, everything can come out. That is the pralaya and srishti. It is that simple for him. It's like breathing in and breathing out. So uh, Bhagavan, what he does is, this beautiful darshan is given to Markandeya Maharishi. So Markandeya Maharishi is able to see what is happening. He is going inside Bhagavan, and he's seeing, oh, he's inside. Who's this little baby? What is happening? And then he's consumed inside the baby. And when Bhagavan breathes out, he comes out and he's seeing the Pralaya Jaba, everything, going, getting immersed in the water. He's having a first-hand experience of the Srishti and, Laya. So this everything is happening at that pace that Markandeya Rishi records this Anubhava, that this little baby who's lying down, he's filled with tejas, and this Pralaya kind of thing happens. So during this pralaya or the great dilunch, all of us become such a small thing. Now, Bhagavan consumes all of us and creates everything. So this Srishti Karta has nothing to be grateful about. But then he is grateful for anything which anybody can say. This entire Prapanja is now inside Bhagavan. Now, what does Bhagavan do? He hugs Hanumanji, saying that there is nothing that I can do for you. Therefore, I am hugging you. So when he is hugging, what happens? This entire prapanja is inside Bhagavan. Bhagavan is now hugging Hanumanji. Bhagavan enters the heart of Hanumanji. So this prapanja along with Bhagavan is now going inside Hanuman. After giving that to Hanumanji, Bhagavan says, what can I do for you? This is the kind of kritagnyatva that Bhagavan shows. He gives himself to us. Alvar says, Tannayum Tanda Karpagame. When we do not ask for anything, he gives himself to us. He gave himself to Arjuna because Arjuna did not ask for anything. Duryodhana asked for his army and he got only the army. Arjuna did not ask for anything, Bhagavan gave himself to him. Gopikas did not ask for anything, Bhagavan gave himself to them. Hanumanji did not ask for anything, Rama gave himself to him. So when we do not have any materialistic desires, Bhagavan gives himself to us. So such beautiful qualities of Bhagavan is mentioned, Satyavakya, Dridhavrata, Charitrena Chako Yuktaha, Sarvabhuteshu Kohitaha. So we think the world is for humans, but Bhagavan thinks the world is for everything. So for all the beings, he does only what is beneficial. So he is a Samartaha. Ekapriya Darshanaha, Atmavan, Jitakrodaha. He's won all his anger, And here in this song also we saw that he created that anger on Ravana only because his devotees were hurt. When anything happens to him, Bhagavan is just not bothered. Dyutiman, Dyutiman means he's so radiant that everybody, gets so attracted because of his stages. Anusuyakaha, there is no concept of, jealousy or anything, that all the gods feared Bhagavan when something wrong was done by them. Bibhyati Devaha. Devas get so scared to approach Bhagavan, but then he's such a Manatta Kinyan where everybody loves Bhagavan. So he is a sweetheart to everybody. Now, what happens here is this beautiful Rama, all these qualities of Rama are inquired, by sage Valmiki to Devarishi Narada. Is there any person who has all these qualities? It is very, very difficult to see a person having a little bit of one quality itself. So, is there a person who has all these 16 qualities who is living at this point of time in this world? And then sage Narada, Devarishi Narada says, there is only one person and he is Sri Rama. And then Devarishi Narada starts to explain what kind of a person Sri Rama is. And in addition to these qualities, Devarishi elaborates a lot more qualities and then elaborates the charitra of Bhagavan Sri Rama. based on which Valmiki Maharishi expands the Ramayana itself, which led to 24,000 slokas and adhyaya after adhyaya. If we are a serious learner, we can see the kind of gunas, the kind of Bhagavad gunas, the Atma gunas which are exhibited by Bhagavan is such a great learning experience. We can dwell on those gunas because Bhagavan is such a great manattukku iniyan. We will start falling in love with Bhagavan for every single quality which he exhibits at different points of time across Ramayana. In fact, I constantly say and I keep believing that Ramayana, if we look at it in one way, is nothing but a extension of Rama's guna anubhava. Ramanubhava is Ramayana. Enjoying his gunas chapter by chapter by chapter is Ramayana. So that is basically the Gunanubhuti of Bhagavan. So here, all these girls say, Manattu Kiniyan. Andal puts that all what I've spoken now in this beautiful phrase, which is called Manattu Kiniyan. He is such a pleasant person when we think of him. Manattu Kiniyanai Padavum ni Vaitiravai. We are singing about that Rama, that beautiful Rama. How can you be silent when we are speaking about him? You can't be quiet. So your mind will relax when we speak about him. You will start enjoying when we speak about him. Why don't you open your mouth? Because we are speaking about that great Manatik Inian, listening to which you can't keep quiet. You know, so he is the one who rushed hurriedly when Gajendra called for him. He is the one who rushed hurriedly when Prahlada, was troubled by his father. Um, he is the one who actually, came to Draupadi to help instantly. So Hiranyakasipu said, to Prahlada, if your hurry does not come now, I'm going to chop your head and feed it to a lion. So instantly, Bhagavan took the face of a lion, and as a Narasimha, he came to protect Prahlada. That instantaneous help Bhagavan does. He is our Rama. So when we are singing about our Rama, how can you sleep? Rama Rama, get up and come, right? So, Manattukkiniyane Padavum ni Vaitiravai. And then they say, Inittan Eluttirai. Now, because this girl is also dwelling on this beautiful Anubhava of Rama Anubhava, right? And who is he? He is a Manattukku Iniyan. He is such a pleasant person to think of that when she constantly thinks of Manattukiniyan, 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 she herself becomes a Iniyal. She herself becomes so sweet, so pleasant, such a nice person that Andal now addresses her as Inital. Now, this is a very, very important lesson for all of us. Think about it. A magnet is there and a metal is there. We constantly keep rubbing the metal and the magnet. After some time, what will happen is the magnet, the quality of the magnet will rub on to the metal also, right? Similarly, we keep constantly contemplating on the qualities of Bhagavan over and over and over again. What will happen? Over a period of time, some of Bhagavan's qualities starts rubbing on us. We start, getting the great qualities which Bhagavan will bless us with. So it's like, when we tie up a flower garland, all the fragrance of the flowers are tied together, right? After some time, when we smell even the thread in which all these are tied up, the fragrance of the flowers come. All of us would have experienced that, right? So that fragrance comes because of the constant association of the thread to the flower. Similarly, when our chintana is constantly on Bhagavan, 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 Bhagavan's guna, oh my God, Rama is a Satyasanda. He has such a, uh, you know, um great sankalpa that he will never ever utter a lie. This quality of him made him tolerate so many difficulties, so much of trouble he had to undergo in life, but then he never gave up on it. He shows his gratitude even for the lowest things. His Sausilia makes him treat everybody at par. We keep contemplating on all this Gunanubhuti of Bhagavan. over a period of time, think of a real life situation where we are faced with that kind of a situation, where we are faced with some situation where we are tested whether we will tell the truth or not. A scenario where telling the truth is going to give us a lot of headaches. We can get away with it by, telling something which is not really true. So that kind of a situation we are facing. If we tell the truth, a lot of consequences are there. Should we tell the truth or not is a mental dilemma. Should we go on the path of dharma, or can we just say it's okay once, it doesn't matter? What should we do? Because we've been constantly doing a dhyana of Rama's gunas, his qualities on Satya, 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 Satya. Rama will ensure that we speak the truth. He will also help us handle the consequence in the appropriate manner. He will give us the courage. He will give us the mindset to handle the situation appropriately. That will be the Bhagavad Karuna Kataksha that will help us take the right path. Because this is a process of Atma Shuddhi. It is not about, just that situation. It's not a temporary situation. It's a life decision. Every single thing we face in life is a anubhava. Life itself is a anubhava. Therefore, we will be able to face it. Next time somebody does any small help to us, we will remember Rama had the kritagnyata. He always showed gratitude even if smallest help was received. Therefore, we have to show gratitude to all our associates, whatever is the small help they do. We have to do it multifold. That should be our ambition in life. So, all these kind of gunas start rubbing on us. Therefore, Andal shows this as an illustration where she says, Manatta Kinyan is Rama, and then she addresses this gopi as Initai Irindira. You are, such a pleasant person because you are constantly thinking about that pleasant person, Bhagavan Rama. So you have also incorporated that quality of Bhagavan in yourself. So this is an instruction to us on who we should associate ourselves with, who we should not associate ourselves with. We are supposed to associate ourselves with Bhagavatas, with people who have all good gunas in them. Therefore, with their association, with Sat Sangha, with Bhagavad Chintana, we can improve our Atma Gunas. Anaithillattarum arindelor embavai. So that's the last phrase here. Anaithi illattarum. So now the girl from inside is asking, so is everybody come? You are trying to wake me up. So what is the situation out there? And then Andal says, everybody is come, and now if you're not going to come out, these are friends, so they are just pulling her. They're saying like, if you're not going to come out, everybody in the neighborhood would know that you are sleeping so late. Anaithi illattarum arinde. We will make sure that everybody knows that you are still sleeping, you're not getting up, you're making us stand, in this frozen dews are all touching our head. Your floor is flooded with the milk from all the buffaloes that are, flooding the places here. So remember, we are here, we are waiting for you. Come out. So she's instructing her friend to come out. Now, all these again have a lot of internal meanings where different acharyas have given very, very deep meanings for it. This is about waking up the Jivatma. It has always been in darkness. It's been sleeping from time immemorial. So now with Bhagavad Chintana, with Acharya Anugraha, we have to remember to get up from this long slumber that we've been having. So the Guru, the Acharya, Goda here, wakes us up. She tells, enough. If you do not wake up even now, this is the limit. Please get up, come, join the Bhagavata Koshti. Let's sing about the praises of Bhagavan so that his praises will rub, it will enhance our qualities. He is always happy to go, to whatever extent to help the Bhagavatas, because it is painful for him to see his jivatmas suffer. Like the buffaloes, he suffers a lot more than what each of us suffer. All his karuna is wasted like the milk of these buffaloes, because the acharya is supposed to give it to us. We do not know where to go, what to do. So approach the right acharya. Be a patra for Bhagavad Karuna. The moment you are a patra for Bhagavad Karuna, you get everything that is required. You become a sat patra of Bhagavan. that, he will do all what it takes to protect you, guide you in the right path. So associate yourself with the right devotees all the time. So a lot of such meanings are given. And this Pasuram is the Pasuram where she associates this girl and tells that Krishna Seva is the ultimate Seva, that is the ultimate wealth that all of us can have. And all of us, which means that even we can have that wealth if we look forward to Krishnanubhuti given by Goda. So when we recite Goda's Tiruppavai, when we recite the great treasure that she has given, Bhagavan feels that, it is Goda who is reciting. Even if the calf's skin is covered and we come and recite, like the calf pours the milk. Similarly, when we recite Tiruppavai, Bhagavan thinks, oh, it is my Andal's, Pasurams, and he melts and his Karuna pours on us also. So that is the greatness of such wonderful works, why we have to learn it.
நினைத்து முலை வழியே நின்று பால் சோர நினைத்து முலை வழியே நின்று பால் சோர நனைத்தில்லும் சேர நனைத்து இல்லம் சேர நற்செல்வம் தக பணித்தலே வீழ நின் வாசல் கடை பற்றி பணித்தலே வீழ நின் வாசல் கடை பற்றி சினத்தினால் தென்னிலங்கை கோமானே சற்ற சினத்தினால் தென்னிலங்கை கோமானே சற்ற மனது கிணியானை மனது கிணியானை பாடவும் நீவாய் திறவாய் தான் எழுதினாய் ஈதல் பேருரக்கம் இனிதான் எழுதினாய் ஈதல் பேருரக்கம் அனைத்தில்லத்தாரும் அறிந்தோரியம் பாவாய் அனைத்து இல்லத்தாரும் அறிந்தேலோர் எம் பாவாய்